Thanks, guys. Thank you so much for coming back by. I told you that we are starting our conversations with D series again for the summer, and I am here today. We have a delay. Let me tell you something that Texas is doing for me. Texas decided that today would be the day that we would have a storm. We're okay with that because professionals work within every aspect of anything that we are going through. So we are going to push through this interview regardless of the storm. LJ, welcome to Conversations with D.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Man, I'm excited because I've seen so much of, kind of all that you do on social media. I've also run across you on different platforms and we've shared panelists back and forth. We've had a couple of scuffles in those debate streets maybe once in a while, but not really. We tend to be eye to eye the majority of the time on the topics, right?
Nothing is
But
a
I want
100%.
but I wanted to make sure that I let the world know a little bit more about you. Okay, so LJ, tell us, where are you from?
I'm from the Bronx, New York, originally.
Okay,
Born and raised, basically. Uh, yeah, New York, New York dude through and through.
just born and raised New York, all things New York. New York is having the time of their lives because they
Uh,
are the topic of conversation for the last 4 weeks for sure.
Good or bad? Good or bad?
Good or bad, somebody is repping and doing something in them New York streets. And we love it. We love to see it
Definitely.
all the time. So tell me, how did you gain an interest in what you do? Tell us what you do as your talent. Comedian LJ is about all that I know. But tell us what you do and how did you gain an interest in doing this?
So as you mentioned, I'm a comedian. I'm actor, improv specialist. I I always attest my interest in entertainment and making people laugh and smile back to my mother. My mother was a single mother, and when she used to come home from work, I used to just try little ways, like however I could, and sometimes I used to just have Comedy Central on for her when she came in, and stay up with her as long as I could, and seeing those comedians and those people just change her whole mood from her coming in and having like she was in a very male dominated industry at the time. She
Right,
retired from corrections, and New
right.
York City corrections was definitely nothing like it was definitely its own thing in the 90s and early 2000s. So you know
Exactly.
I definitely I always put it back to her and seeing how her mood would change and wanting to have that same effect on somebody at some point.
I love that. So you're inspired. I was going to go into who inspires you, but your mother inspires you.
Oh yeah.
Why is it so important to be the backbone and the support for the black single mom, especially, but for the black mother in the culture?
It's important to me just because I got to witness my mother's strength in so many different ways, and I didn't always see that the world saw that in her. Sometimes people saw it as frustration. Sometimes people saw it as um, a boisterous person or aggravated person. But to me, I'm saying it like y'all don't know. She went through all the things that she went through. Just give you an example. My mother is always one of these people who like she hates mechanics because she feel like mechanics don't like ever give women a fair like a
They
fair shake.
don't. They
And
don't.
I promise you, I used to be looking like, man, here we go. But then over the years, I started like really realizing, like, nah, they really do just try to take advantage if they see. So, things like that. Like I said, like she just always has inspired me to be the epitome of strength because, and like I said, and to highlight Black women's strength because
Exactly. Exactly.
again, like you said, it's not always commended for y'all. It's not always seen as what it actually is. I want to say that.
Right. Exactly. And so that's important for to hear y'all say it, because we like to give ourselves the accolades all the time, and we are too often put down because we say I'm a queen, and they don't always accept that, what that comes with that, and why it's important for us to stand in those shoes for not just us, but for the ancestors and the many persons before us, right? So let's get back into the life of LJ. What is an average day like for you as a comedian? Just overall, what you do
Yeah.
community wise.
So I moved not too long ago. So I before, when I was in New York, I was way more involved with my immediate community, and it would be a lot of volunteering and giving back to the community. As far as I used to do things like teach, it was like seminars weekly where I would host them and teach people different life skills, resumes, and things like that. But now that I'm out here, I honestly, I'm in Las Vegas, stationed in Las Vegas for right now.
Okay.
Um, Right now, it's looking for mics, looking for, getting up, checking my emails, seeing if there's any bookings, anything like that. Walking
Right.
my dog very early in the morning because it's over three digit weather out here.
No, it's
It's
so it's
just
the Sahara
ridiculous.
Desert for sure that way.
Yeah, I'm waking up average like 5 o'clock in the morning to try to beat the sun to get him worked out. He's a boxer, so very
Okay.
active breed. And
Right.
yeah, checking emails a lot, staying consistent as far
Right.
as the internet. Um, just a lot of people underestimate the balance that it takes to be a comedian in these days. And
Right.
some people think it's mostly internet. Some people think it's mostly going and being on mics and being seen out in public. But
Right.
realistically, it's a combination of both. And
Right.
that's why I say it's sometimes a little alarming how much time I'm spending on social media just from
Right.
doing research. Like it's not from a entertaining myself
Right.
aspect. It's what are people being entertained by? Like you said, we've
Right.
had some discussions on some very hot topics right now. I don't want to veer
Yes,
off,
and that
but
definitely fuels the
you know,
microphone, right?
exactly. So to
Yeah.
stay abreast to what's going on and to be able to be educated enough to have conversations with people like you on these different
Right.
topics and not sound ignorant like I'm just making anything up or like
Exactly.
I'm clout chasing or just
Or
doing things for clickbait.
Googling as you talk.
Exactly. So I try to do
Yeah.
I call it giving my peers and the people who invite me like yourself to their show and share their platform. I
Right.
I consider that the respect of doing the research of the field that we're in and
That's good.
realizing that it's not like you just calling me up here to be a comedian. Like I'm not coming up here to
Exactly.
do a set. We're having a conversation. So like
Right.
I said, just that's a typical
Staying
day.
relevant. Well, I love that you
Exactly.
use the digital spaces to stay relevant, because they want so much to cancel the digital spaces, but the digital spaces have changed the world, and they have made a lot of people wake up to a lot of things that they didn't know before. So, yeah, it's important that we keep, in my opinion, it's important that we keep digital going for a very long time. Yeah, I like what it's done for us. Yeah.
Absolutely. And tell you the truth, I don't want to sound too much like a nerd, but if I'm not doing that stuff, I'm listening to an audiobook. Like I'm a very big while I'm moving, like I want to listen to either music or some type of like documentary, some type of audiobook that's gonna keep me just kind of puts me in a meditative state where I'm not thinking about, because if I'm not thinking about that, I'm thinking about what's going on and why I'm not on social media following trends or seeing so yeah,
Exactly.
that stuff
Yeah, so
kind of keeps
you're taking care of your mind, and that will show and come up on the microphone. I sneaked into one of your audiences, and it was definitely apparent that you stay up to date. That was a really good set, and I was laughing. I thought it was really great. Yeah.
thank you. I appreciate it. And again, that's part of the job. I don't ever try to judge anybody, but some people just follow the like comedians used to say, just get a solid 15 minutes, work that till somebody see you, and then you just keep. I don't like to repeat myself. I don't like to sound like a person heard me and then they come to see me again and it's not a new experience. Even if it's the joke premise is the same. It might be a joke about my mother, it might be a joke about my father, it might be a joke about my dog, but I like to pride myself on changing things and people having that type of reaction to a set.
Exactly. And moving it along with the times, because we have to move with the times. And sometimes what you can say 10 years ago, you maybe shouldn't say it that way now, right?
Ooh. I had a whole joke I couldn't say while Biden was in office. Now the Trump back, he is good again.
Yeah, it's good again. It's good to go. Run that joke, LJ. Man, so look, what motivates you while in your creative mode? I see that you do the audio books. I love to unwind with audio. People think that because I'm on social, when they see me, they have no idea that that's only 4% of my life, because I like to take myself into mental healing spaces and clear my mind to come back and do it all over again, especially with 8 weeks of the Diddy trial, right? So what, other than the audiobooks and time with your boxer, what else motivates you?
Um, motivates me honestly just knowing that I have friends and family that are out here looking and supporting. I really don't like to ever be the type of person to let people down, especially myself. Like I know that you know, you could be your biggest enemy or your biggest motivator. And I try to be my biggest motivator as opposed to standing in my way. And yeah, and it's like it's maybe because I'm an Aries. It's like a inner competitiveness inside of me, and it's not necessarily like, oh, I see somebody doing something that I want to do, but it's just something that inside of me, like a motor, like you have to be doing something else right now. Something
Okay.
you could be doing something else to be more productive. So
I
yes,
raised the Aries and he's a black man, so I already know what that's like. You
you
guys are
know.
constantly on the go. You can't sit an Aries down at all.
Oh God. My mother keeps
Okay.
telling me that same thing. Like you gotta plant some flags soon. Like
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. So, over in the comments, Brent Reborn stopped in and he says, yes, agreeing with you that it is so important about, the Black woman comments that you made. So I appreciate that, LJ. I appreciate when y'all don't forget us, especially because the internet tries to make you think that y'all all hate us. So
that's
I
oh,
appreciate
that's
when y'all.
like that's one of my biggest motivators as well. Thank you to make sure that black women feel loved in this world for real. And
Right, right,
you know,
right.
outside of just being hypersexualized and stuff like that, just letting people like somebody know that somebody has their back is a feeling that definitely motivates me because I've been disappointed in black men's reactions to black women not or speaking up about feeling not protected. So it's just
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. And I really don't like the digital space, which is just so much of a facade at times that it can take away a woman's ability to just appreciate who she is and to feel confident about herself because of just a few moments where a podcast just is nasty with it. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
I absolutely agree. Thank you for all of you guys that are showing up. We highly appreciate that. Now, I want you to do this. I don't want all your tea, and when I have the comedians on here, I've had D. Ellis and we've talked. I don't want you guys to give me your secrets, but what's your creative process with putting these jokes together? What's the average day like for you when you're creating?
Oh man. So, I don't want to give away the secret of the ancestors and say Mary Jane been sang about for a long time, way before I got around.
Right, right.
Honestly, I I've watched. I'm a big film buff. So like I'll see something and it might remind me of something that I saw in a series one time, and it's like, oh, how can I recreate that? Or
Right.
sometimes like for a while before it got a little oversaturated, I was doing a lot of impersonations and as just basically like if you see somebody doing something on the red carpet or something, dressing
Yeah.
up like them and doing reenactments of things like that. And I have
Right.
fun with that because to me, I feel like it's something funny in literally everything. Like me and my
Yeah.
mother have gone, I've literally seen not only like literally from the mud. Like I'm not gonna
Yeah.
say ever say like my mother wasn't a provider, but she had a lot to do with the resources that she had.
All
And
right. Exactly.
it's only so much. And yeah,
That's the
to
story of many of us. Yeah. Hmm.
to
Yeah.
be able to see the humor in those moments, it kind of prepare you
Exactly.
in life where
Mhm.
like you see something is like I don't want to, downplay nobody's hurt or anything like that. But if
Yeah.
you a human, you should be able to see the funny and what's going on with you. So
We can laugh
I'm
at
like,
our pain. That's a black girl magic. We can laugh at our pain.
exactly. So I might see honestly, like I might like today I was walking and I saw this couple with this poodle and they were just walking funny. And I just came up with a whole premise of like, like
They're
just
the muse. They were the muse.
exactly. So
Okay.
it's so life, and I respect. I forget which comedian I heard say it exactly, but he was just talking about how being in life, like being in public and being around people, it can
Right.
just motivate and inspire so much. And
Yeah.
yeah, I have to say the same. Like being in the house is one thing. Like I might come up with something, but again, that might be something that I thought was funny when I saw something that Monty Python, pardon me, um, I could say Gene Wilder movie, or I'm
Right.
just
Right.
thinking
Right.
like an older comedian that most people
Right.
would not watch, and I'm like, oh yeah, I could kind of put a spin on this
There
new
you go.
thing with that. That's
Yeah.
one thing, but to walk outside and just see people like people watch and see something funny is like
Yeah.
hilarious to me, So
Yeah, I like that. I like that. I'm watching that Hacks. I don't know if you've seen Hacks yet, but for Comedy World, Hacks is good. If you haven't seen it, I encourage you to watch Hacks. The comedy
definitely.
writing on there and everything that she's doing, exposing this world of when she was an old comedian and she kind of had to come into the new world. And I think that she's tapping into the story of Joan Rivers. So it's really funny. Y'all have,
Um,
I know it's not the culture, but y'all got to watch Hacks. It's really funny. It's
um,
good.
I always tell people I'm a big advocate for the culture, but as far as
Yeah.
watching and learning, watch what
Film,
you
yeah.
want to watch. Watch what's funny to you. Like I might watch
Yes,
certain shows that people is definitely outside of the culture. Like I would watch How I
exactly.
Met Your Mother. I think How I Met Your
How I
Mother is
Met Your
hilarious.
Mother is good. Once you get into the first episode, you're going all the way in with How I Met Your Mother because you got
You
to get
know?
to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have I ever watched an episode of Friends? Never. But that's a whole different thing. See, that
But
just
I
didn't
bet you
speak to
saw
me.
Girlfriends. I know you saw Girlfriends.
Oh, I definitely
Yeah,
watched Girlfriends.
yeah,
I,
yeah.
I didn't like that dude. I got a whole joke about that guy. I
Oh man, he
never
was so
liked
in
that.
love with Joan, though. He was so in love with Joan.
Man, I was happy when I started watching a little bit when he went and got that cop that he was dating and she was the freak and he got over Joan. I remember
That's
that
funny.
part. But
That's
yeah,
funny.
William. I couldn't stand William just begging.
William, there you go. That I was trying to think of his name as I was messing around, you guys. Sorry about that. Let me get this computer plugged in. I'm going to ask you a question. Do you collaborate with others? And you guys give me just a moment. I'm still here. Do you collaborate with others, LJ?
Absolutely. And part of me moving out west was to collaborate with more people. I am looking to collaborate. I find it to be more entertaining and more funny when you have multiple people in a skit as opposed to one person doing multiple um characters within a skit,
Right.
especially when it's not like Eddie Murphy or where he's creating these characters, but there's other people involved in the scene. If it's just you, I'm not saying that it's not entertaining to me, but to me, I always just, like I said, doing improv. I've done improv at many different professional, I guess, theaters you could say, and
Right.
I love improv I don't want to be biased and say I love it
I
more than
love improv.
comedy, but I absolutely love being able to come up with a joint body of work with other people. I'm not
Exactly.
I I have a philosophy. I always tell people, the best player on the team not always the MVP. Yeah, but as long as I'm on that float and we all drinking the same champagne, I'm good. I don't care
Yes, and
about the
when you
last.
find that person that you can flow with, and I watch you guys go at it, and I see you guys on in improv, y'all start connecting, and I'm like, yeah, it's getting there, it's getting there. I like it. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
it's very few things more natural to me in the world than seeing a group of people, because people swear at the end y'all all knew each other, y'all rehearsed the lines, and to
right,
you, when you're on stage, you just so into what's going on, you just
right.
thinking about what is the how can we keep them believing that this
This is,
magic.
yeah. It's
Exactly.
kind of like a Saturday Night Live thing. I
Yes.
always wanted to get into improv, but I don't have that boldness that you all have. So yeah, I like it though. Yeah.
Improv, to me, I feel like you have to be able to conform more than being bold. To me,
Right.
yes, ending is that's why I said being a comic and going up on stage and captivating the audience that way is a whole different feeling than I guess you could compare it to boxing to basketball. Like you
Right.
have one on one, and I have to make sure everybody in here is entertained from this one
Exactly.
performance, and this guy
Exactly.
might not even be swinging. So I have to find a way to make this entertaining. But if we have a
Yeah.
group of professionals where, listen, I know we don't play usually, but this is the USA Olympic team. I know you the
Exactly.
best at what you do, and you gonna bring that out of me too. So that's why I
Exactly.
love. I'm a big sports team player. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It's a sports that will teach you. I think if you study the art of sports and if you study the art of acting, I think that it'll teach you a lot in any of the art that you do, whether it's content creating, whether it's podcasting, comedian work. I think you can learn a lot from the world of sports and from that process that they do to act. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
Is there a hitting meaning in any of your work? Like,
Oh, definitely,
okay.
definitely.
You're not going to tell
it's
us, are you?
it's
Is it a secret?
I'll say this is never with the person who approaches me about with the quote unquote hidden meaning. It's like I'll be trying to put like political things and like
Okay.
like I said, loving your people, loving our like putting us on high is
Right.
my ultimate
Mhm. I
message.
kind of seen you. I've seen you in action with that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
redoing old R&B videos, redoing like little funny stuff where it's like my people might have forgot about it, but we still need those reminders. And I
Right.
feel like it's usually a person like, oh, like was that about that female that you used to talk to? Was that about wasn't that about that
Trying to
thing that we
connect
doing
those
back in the
dots.
day? I'm like, bruh, you
Yeah.
missed the
Yeah.
whole thing,
Trying to
man.
connect those dots. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
probably shouting out Bernie Mac with that, man. I wasn't even
Yeah.
talking about really nothing like so,
Yeah. The
you
skit just
know,
happened to flow. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah.
exactly.
That's funny.
I definitely got into some trouble before, but when that whole I did a whole skit about the entanglement thing with Will Smith and
Uh-oh.
his wife.
Yes.
And
Bad marriage for life. Yeah.
yeah, that just
That
turned into a
entanglement
whole
was
nother
crazy.
thing. Yeah, so
Uh-oh. So that they got you in trouble in your personal life.
yes, and
Okay.
a lot of times, even though I remind people this is entertainment and this is comedy, and some of these
Right.
stories that I'm telling might be a combination of something that might have happened to me in the second grade. I might
Right.
have twisted it into something where I had an interaction with a grown person, but
Right.
people was laughing. I have to get text messages and emails and calls
Yeah.
about, oh, I knew when we was together, I knew you was messing around. We wasn't. Yeah.
I knew you was a player, LJ.
All of that. All of that. So
That's hilarious. Oh, come on, let him do his art. Then take it in personal. That's funny. That's a funny
and
story.
I try to tell people, like, you think Samuel L. Jackson don't have a wife? You think Denzel don't have a wife? Like, you think Kevin Hart didn't get divorced, then has a new wife. Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
these people entertain, and if
Yes.
we're having a conversation where it's just entertainment, what
Right.
is that? What are you offended by? Like,
Yeah.
especially when you're getting the warning. Listen, I'm inviting you to come. I might be talking about some crazy stuff, but it's just crazy stuff. Don't take none of this serious.
Yeah. And no, don't wear your emotions on your sleeve, people. With comedy, you'll miss so much, especially with Dave Chappelle. Like people miss so much because they're too emotional. Hmm.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, what's your favorite part about this line of work about comedy? What's your favorite part?
Uh, the it's kind of the my favorite and my least favorite part is the people that you meet. I'm a 6'3" black man from New York City. I guarantee my walk of life would have never had me interact with
Maybe with
some
the
of these
people.
people who I've shared stages with, got to entertain people with, and some of
Right,
them are
right.
cool, but then it's also that percentage of like people who are like bullied, or they saw the person with the character of me and they deemed them as like, oh, they too
Oh,
cool to know where a comedian really come from, because he's not short, he's not fat, he's not ugly. So how
right.
can he know the trauma that goes along with
Right. He's already has the aesthetics. He can't make anything funny. He hasn't had an experience.
I have
Wow.
I have
That's crazy.
literally walked up to stages and heard people like, he's not gonna be funny, he's too handsome to be funny. Like,
I
and I'm like,
see.
wait, I really had to
Exactly.
train myself, because that'll throw you off. Like, you kind of
Yeah.
training yourself to hear negativity, but then to
Right.
hear negativity because of like you're seen as attractive is way very different.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
different.
that's fair. I can't even imagine. And the jealous people come for you. The jealous people, they see you doing something that they're not doing, and let me not testify on these streets.
Man,
All right. So
you
what's your least favorite part of this line of work? Your least favorite?
just that it's so controlled by by those same people. So if they don't give you a good, like a fair shot and an honest shake, it's kind of like they operate within groups and cliques. So these might be people in Chicago who know people in Florida, who know people in New York, who they were all in the same hotel room at one point and sharing cheese
Yes.
doodles. So they have a friendship, and they might.
And they have a click.
Exactly. So it's like they might see you and it's like, oh, I saw my girl at the bar looking at that dude while he was just sitting there looking at notes, but I ain't really like that stuff. So now I'm looking at his set. His set was all right. He funny, but nah, I'm not gonna let him go and do this to the next person. So let me. Oh, LJ. I mean, if you want to, bro, but he kind of, I don't know how the conversations actually
Yeah.
go,
You
but
don't know, but you kind of can speculate. You've heard that, I've heard Marlon Wayans tap into that. Yeah,
yes,
like, oh, not his turn yet, not his turn yet.
exactly.
Yeah, that's a scary world to live in for sure. Someone's
And
deciding when it's you. Yeah,
yes, especially
yeah,
again when it's like you look at the scope of things, it's like, okay, you'll let so easily you'll let certain demographic of people in, but then it's like, I'm out here working hard too, bro. Like, those same
right.
people that you see Monday through Sunday, I'm at the same mics as them. I'm doing the shucking and jiving, because in other rooms where people of our color,
Yeah.
minorities aren't controlling, they sliding them in there very easily. So I gotta work 3 times as hard with our people, and
Yeah, because
twice
our
as hard with
people,
others. So
yeah, you have to prove yourself in the other spaces, and then our people seem to think that they can control this timeline of who gets to go and win. Although I like to say all the time, you can't out God, because God's always going to decide when it's you, and no one can take that away, right?
absolutely, you gotta be ready, you gotta be prepared, and
Yeah.
willing to do whatever God is calling you to do in that moment.
Yeah. Yeah, I love doing the interviews and the conversations. I shy away from it a lot of times. I pull away. Sometimes in a season when I'm not doing interviews, people will come to me and I'm like, "Where were you when I was trying to get a whole lineup?" So it's hard to continue to push through, right? But when it's your calling and when it's you, I know that you have to keep going through and pushing through
Abs-
that, right? And when we talk about
Absolutely.
that, let's talk about anxiety. Have you ever dealt with performance anxiety, getting on the stage? Is there any nervousness?
It's definitely a I suffer from anxiety, depression, a few different things. And
I have anxiety. I can relate. Yeah.
yeah, it's very nerve-wracking if you don't. I kind of trick myself into telling like I'll literally go in the mirror and tell myself like the only difference between those things is the feeling that you feeling is the words that humans put on it. It could be
Right.
excitement or it could be fear.
Right.
Choose to
Right.
call
Right.
it excitement and go out here and rock this mic. And I also again kind of put it into the perspective of, at one time comedians was gestures. You know,
Right. That's
you
right.
look at
That was about
you
as
look at
funny
the
as you
Remember
could
the
get.
Time.
Yeah.
Look at the Remember the Time video. The
Yes.
Pharaoh wasn't entertained, or you did the same thing
Exactly.
too many times. You got to go see them.
Time.
You know,
Yeah.
you
Uh-huh.
literally getting unalive because your
Exactly.
profession is to make people laugh, and they
At
try
all
to make
times.
you know. So I try to put myself whenever I've ever in life kind of felt fear in any form, I've kind of always been the person who like, let me do it so I know like this hasn't hindered me in my life to know
Right.
like I don't care. Like I'm not trying to prove that I'm tough because somebody say, "Oh, that pot is hot." Oh, it's hot. Okay, I'm just not afraid to touch it for those two
Exactly.
seconds because it got to get moved from off that before it burn, right?
Exactly.
Or so I kind of
You're willing to test the waters. I think that people that are willing to test the waters, they go further than their doubters think that they can go. Yeah. Yeah. So I like that. I love that. I love that you push past it. Anxiety is very hard to push past. That is something that I go through, and they've tried everything from Wellbutrin to Buspirone, and so it's a lot to go through that. But the main thing, like you said, is in your head and telling yourself, "You got this." I think of Issa Rae. Issa Rae's moments on Insecure. I
Oh
can relate
man.
to talking to that mirror, going crazy with that mirror. Like, come on, you got this. Let's do this. Yeah.
Oh man.
Especially
So
for me, doing this and talking to you guys, I never know how you receive it. I never know if I go too far. I never know if I ask too many questions. And so, yeah, it's a tough life for sure.
oh
Yeah.
well, just know I'm enjoying myself. You've helped me, because I was a little anxious getting up here, and I felt safe, of course, but
Yeah.
just having anxiety, it's just that
Yeah.
feeling of like, what could go wrong? Are you gonna are you gonna be speaking right? Are you going
Yeah.
so? You made me feel very comfortable, and I can see why people love to do the interviews and love seeing the interviews with you for real.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. The storm came, and you know how you get in your head when you have anxiety, and the wind was just crazy. It was just like, the rain, and I was like, Texas. I mean, I love you, Texas, but it does it big every time, and it just the timing had me nervous. I didn't know how it was going to go, but we seem like we're doing okay. We have a delay, but we're doing okay. All right, so let's talk performance venues in your world. What's the best venue? What's the goal venue? How far and how big? What's too small of a venue, and then what's your, maybe not tell us your goal, but your dream. But where do you think is the best one to perform at?
Um, I mean, I feel like every comedian, yes, there's people who just do these things, these forms of entertainment for like the pure love of it. But I feel like everybody is lying if they say they don't have certain names on their list to check off and say like I performed there or I want to
Mhm,
perform there.
mhm,
Um, Definitely Apollo. Being from New
mhm.
York, I would love to have a show at Apollo.
Right.
Radio City. I used to work at Madison Square Garden. So any of their affiliates that I would be able to go back and treat the co-workers that I used to work with as,
Yeah.
with love.
Yes.
I wouldn't treat. I promise I wouldn't treat y'all bad. But
See, some
having a
people do some really tough stuff to your to people in the performance field. Have they been a little not so nice?
um, yeah, I don't know. I'm an '89 baby. I don't take this like. I don't be taking stuff like that too much. Like, if you're not messing with my money or messing with my booking, like all that mean stuff, I feel
Yeah.
like honestly, most, and not to put it in like a primal way, most people is not getting in the gladiator pit. And
Right.
when you a person with that mindset that you
Right.
know that you've been in the pit and what you would do in
Right.
the pit, a lot of
Yeah.
these people is like, man, I know you just and for lack of better terms, you a club manager or
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
you're the host for the night and you
Yeah.
feel like you're gonna run this into like the ground. And I
Yeah.
could either be you know, uh the thing that you want me to be, the
Yeah.
ignorant that you want me to be, and talk myself out of opportunities that might come along later on.
Right.
Or I could take it with a grain of salt and say, you know what? When I do get on to a certain level, just remember that too, bro, because
Yeah.
everything
Don't
all
forget,
comes
keep that
around.
energy. Keep that energy when I make it,
You
though.
know? Oh,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
me. You don't remember me? Or from
Yeah.
Tuesdays? You can't just slide through. I see your price is that much, but and
Exactly.
I feel like, just to complete your question, the ultimate goal for any comedian, whether they want to admit it or not, is to get a residency out in Vegas somewhere. Like, if you could say
Right.
that you performed on the strip, like I performed on Broadway in New York at some clubs that aren't even around anymore. Shout out to Caroline's. Very proud as as a comic to say that I performed there. And
Wow. Okay.
I've performed at LA Comedy Club.
Nice. I see all those clips in the hack. I'm
Mhm.
watching Hacks, so I think I know something about comedy. We're all seeing the clips of all the happening clubs in Vegas and LA, the
Oh yeah.
comedy clubs, and they're in the show. So yeah.
Oh yeah. So
Mhm.
and the thing is, there's so many that are popping up. It's definitely a goal of mine to have my own venue that provides comics and improv specialists
That's
the
nice.
platform to
Hmm.
entertain people and to do it the right way, where again, people of our hue
That's
is
right.
feel comfortable and they don't feel like they have to go to like a underground, um like, not that BET or Uncut, like Comic View was like the ghetto stuff, but
Right.
we know that they weren't going up there with clean cut suits. Not saying that that's what you have to do, but I
Right.
would just like to create an environment for,
Well,
if that's your
You could Michael Shea and sit on the stage and do it at one of those type venues. I know what you mean. Mhm.
exactly,
Yeah.
and just see
Hmm.
whatever you bring in tonight. And if tonight
Yeah.
is especially improv night, see a group of people come together and do
Right.
something. That's
Hmm.
the ultimate goal as well. And
Yeah, I
movies,
like that.
film. That's
Definitely movies and film. Definitely. I think that that is one thing that the comedian world that works so well for you because we need to laugh in our films and y'all are the ones to tap into the funniest ones always make the film better. So,
Oh
yeah.
man, that is a as a passion of mine. I have a few screenplays that I'm working on, and like I said, to be able to kind of be in the groundworks of things, where I'm trying to find like a group of people where we could take them from the skits to short films to actual full-fledged films, where we're coming up with not I don't want to say the Tyler Perry model, but I know
Okay.
that's what, like, people are essentially in these days and age attested to him. Some people have
To
done it before
relate it
him,
to. Hmm.
but
Hmm.
yeah, like where it's like a one-stop shop where like the
I call it the Issa Rae model in my world. Yeah. I
yeah, like
watched her on YouTube at Awkward Girl to move over to Pharrell finding her in Insecure. So
mm,
yeah. Hmm.
some people might say, what's the girl from Abbott Elementary, who I feel like
Yes.
she like,
Hmm.
ooh,
Quinta,
Quinta,
something like
yes.
that. Hmm.
Even though she's married who she married, that's a different conversation. Black women. You can always come home, like Martin said. Sister, you can always come home.
I knew you were gonna make me laugh. You
I
can
got to.
always
I
come.
got to.
All right, so let's discuss. Okay, how do you interact with and respond to the supporters that are fans of your work and that you see them and repeat themselves in the audience?
Um, Honestly, it's very different now that I'm in Vegas. I'm starting to get more, I guess, loyal local fans. Whereas opposed when I was in New York, it would be so many travelers on Broadway or the different
Ah,
places that I would be at. They were more
mm,
like I guess commercial where you could find me, but what's the likelihood that you're gonna be in the same city as me? Now that I'm
right.
in Vegas, I have people coming up to me like at gas stations, like, don't I know you? You
That's funny.
and I'm sitting there like, as a black man, I'm like, I don't owe you no
Yeah, I
money,
know.
man. I don't owe you nothing, bro. They like,
That's
nah, I think I seen you somewhere. I'm like, maybe comedy. Oh yeah, that is you. So yeah, it's a new experience interacting in person with them, but on social media, I'm very active. They could DM me, comment. As long as your comment is not stupid or like I said, just feel like some things I just feel like you gotta just put laugh emojis under it, and
yeah.
that's the
Yeah. I
response that
told
it
you my
deserves.
son's an Aries. And when it comes to the Aries, yeah, it may get a response or it may not.
You
You can't
know,
move in Aries just because you bring negative.
I had
Yeah.
to kind of. Oh, I'm sorry. I got a call. Why I
No,
thought I
that
had it on
happens.
do not disturb. It's
That
one of
happens.
it's one of those people that's on the list that those emergency people that could get through.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, I forget what I was saying exactly now.
No, that's okay. No, but yeah, you don't respond to everything on social
Yeah,
media. I think
exactly.
that that's important when you run across the negativity and you're thinking about your brand. And even now, no matter what field of work you're going in, they're looking at your social media. They told us that we can no longer travel to Japan until they go through 5 years of your social media. So you may or may not get a yes based on what's happening on your social media. So how important is it for you to, be real careful on social media these days?
And shout out to the people who, when we was kids, y'all called me crazy. I never used my name for none of my social media
There you go.
um accounts. I never use my real name. So if you look up my real name, it's very hard to find me on the internet. So, but you look up the comedian LJ is a completely different thing. It is
Right.
like I told y'all they was gonna
Yeah.
be watching from
Yeah.
Skolnick's Black Planet days. I remember
Yes.
telling y'all,
Yes.
don't
Yes.
do it
These
to
are the
yourself.
facts. These are the facts. Yes.
I got a
Yes.
couple of friends doing time for some indictments who didn't listen. So, shout out to y'all. Hope y'all
Yeah,
watching.
I mean, and just listening, we're going to talk about one of those individuals right now. They're pulling up everything he did for the past, I don't know how many years. Yeah, you got to be careful with that social media
Yes.
for sure.
Shout out with that. Shout out to the ladies who called me crazy over the years. Oh, you're not gonna send me no pic. You're not gonna do this. You're not gonna. Oh, why we can't play like that? We can't. No, we don't
Post
play those
Diddy, I don't think
games.
so. Yeah, I don't think so.
Uh,
Oh man,
Somebody must
LJ,
have
so
told
share
them wrong.
something with us. Share something that we don't know. I know we get a chance to see you talk on the panels as an analyst often, and we get to hear a lot of your views. You're a history buff that we've definitely come across your ability to do that. What do we not know about you?
Um, I mean, for the career that I have, as far as like making money wise, I do executive protection slash security. So
Mm,
you know,
mm.
I guess that's
You
kind of a
were definitely
contradiction.
meeting everybody in the community with that type of job. Yeah.
That's kind of a contradiction to be so like silly when it comes because a lot of people who I don't share that when I'm on on detail with somebody or have that professional relationship with them. I try to keep it separate because again, they look at you like, so you making people laugh and you dressing up and stuff, but you supposed to be the tough dude on the detail. Like, how you gonna
Yeah.
tell us what to do and you playing games? So I
Well, we see that in the detail, anything can happen because I'm sorry. Before I came to interview you tonight, I saw that scuffle, that Secret Service scuffle. Them ladies meant business. That was hilarious today. And they did get suspended, but they have problems in them fields as well, in that field as well.
they definitely, and that's again, that's something that people
Yeah.
don't even realize. Like, I take a lot from entertaining and take that to de-escalating in those situations where
Right.
if I could make a person laugh about the situation that's going on, they less likely to react like that. But like you said, Secret
Right.
Service is a different level. I've
Yeah.
done executive protection on a celebrity level. Not
Yeah.
I've done foreign. Well, I worked at the U.S. Embassy
Okay. Hmm.
in New
Hmm.
York and did
Yeah.
security there. So
Hmm.
foreign political security, if you want to call it that.
Right.
But
Very serious environment, and you have to, that is the opposite of who we seem to think that you are. Yeah.
and so much so that again, like I said, I see the funny in everything. One of the screenplays that I'm writing about is heavily to do with just the funny part of the security
That's
world
funny.
and the different
That's funny.
levels that people experience. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
actually
funny.
like I want to make a like if you ever see those like Netflix kind of adult cartoons where
Yeah.
they doing a little cursing and stuff like
Yeah,
that. So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
technically animated, but
But
I
yeah, I
want
like
to
that.
do something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that actually has a whole world. I actually like it. I get myself caught up because Honey's into that kind of stuff. I get caught up with that more than I realize. I'm like, I'm still here watching this with you. What's happening?
No, it's just how it goes. That's why they get that money. You
Yeah,
lose yourself in them.
exactly.
Like, wait, how many episodes is that again? Okay, all right. Got to go do
That's
some stuff.
funny. Okay, so what advice would you have for someone that wants to follow in your footsteps? They want to go into this world of maybe moonlighting the comedy world. What advice do you have?
Um, I would say be true to yourself. Don't be afraid to not be who you want to be on that stage. Don't think about who everybody else wants you to be
Right.
because it's supposed to be, in a sense, therapeutic as well. You're supposed
Okay.
to have all these crazy ideas as a comic, and then instead of going out and acting on them, you go to a stage and you talk about it. And you make
Right.
other people who has had not even the same situation, but they could see their self in a similar situation in their life and how they wanted to react crazy too. Like, oh, I'm not the only one who wanted to go and
Oh,
just
so he thought
haul off and
that.
so
Yeah.
be yourself and don't try to be so likable. When I
Yeah.
started, I read like a lot of comedians had to tell me that, like, bro, I don't know what it is. When we talking offline, you
Yeah.
hilarious because you just being who you
Right.
are. But when
Mhm.
you go up there, it's like you kind of like trying to get people to like you.
Or turn
And
it off. Hmm. Hmm.
exactly. So,
Yeah.
I would make jokes about things that I felt like was still me, but I would try to make it so like I would never talk about like sexual stuff at the beginning
Right.
of my
Hmm.
career. I would
Hmm.
never make fun of like being a single black man about
Right.
36 starting to go into like it would be certain things about my life. I'm like, well, I want her to find out. I don't want her to see this.
Right.
I don't want
Exactly.
I don't want my mother to hear me talking about, you know, first of
Uh-huh.
all, I'm from New York. You wasn't supposed to be
Right. Yes. Okay. You got to think
you wasn't
about your
supposed to be
parents and
eating
hearing
those.
something personal. Yeah. Okay.
In the Caribbean culture, we don't do certain things. So to hear me
Right.
say a whole detailed set about said things,
Yes. Mhm.
yeah, my mother's been hurt. She's heard me in like editing videos before, like,
That's funny.
why I gotta be so vulgar? I'm like, all right, that's why
That's funny.
you weren't invited to that particular show. But
You're making me think of Yvonne and how her parents had the opposite thought of who they wanted her to be. Yeah,
you
nothing better
know,
than that Caribbean upbringing.
oh man, like, nothing
That's
better,
funny.
but they
Yeah.
make you like they put that like I said, nobody else gotta be in competition with you. They have a whole three other people in your mind by the time you grown that you should
Yeah.
be competing with, and they all you.
Compare yourself to.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. You know
So
what? That's actually might not be a good idea. Bad idea. It motivates you to try harder than the others actually try to do, right? So, what are your thoughts? We're gonna go and touch on some things here, and if you be as free as you desire to be. The show is open too. If you need me to put up the fair use, we'll do that. Disclaimer: we'll put that up. But what are your thoughts on politics?
my oh man, yeah, you. I'm not
Like,
gonna
you
do
get
too
that
much.
disclaimer
I'm
up.
not going. Yeah, we are. You let me know when I'm good.
No, you're good. You go. You go. I love
Yeah.
everyone to be free on my
But
show.
for lack of better terms, we are fucked, man. Like politics are down the drain. I personally think, and I've said this over and over, when Trump first put his hat in the race, these are we come into the last bits of what democracy has even been fabricated to. Like we know this is not really democracy, but we go along with what they feed
Scripted
us.
along the way.
So right now, I feel like we're coming into the end ages of that. I feel like Trump, you know, I want to put it on the internet so people stop saying that they came up with the idea or the theory. That's gonna be emperor or, whatever. He might not put anything so historically
Right.
significant on it. He might make a whole new term to make people feel like, oh, that's not a big deal. He's not the president. He's not a czar. He's not a Caesar. He's not
Exactly.
a
Exactly.
any of these things. So
Yeah.
let's just let him do it because last time we let the Democrats get it, they they effed it up. So why would we
Yeah.
let anybody who we don't see as entertaining or
Right.
as captivating as him?
Right.
So, you know, again, people aren't very well learned when it comes to history and they don't
No.
know how these things happen, and it's very similar to how people were looking at names like Hitler, names like
They often
trying
say
to think of
Reagan all the time, and they say, he's a
Reagan
lot like
definitely.
Reagan, and or he's doing things like Reagan, and it's like, well, he received the same mandate as Reagan, and he's following through with it. So that's not
That's
shocking.
what I was. That's why I was trying not even to bring it to U.S. presidents. I was about to bring up
Mhm.
like Napoleon Bonaparte
Okay,
and
all right,
people
that's
who
fair.
like people who like were popular when it wasn't they was already in a form of government that was established for so long that people
Right,
couldn't see it go a different way. But
right.
then when these people gained so much popularity and backing
They're
from
like,
the military,
hmm,
they all of a sudden are the new leaders.
right,
These people might have been King Louis the 17th.
right,
This might
exactly.
have been this one. And then they completely took over because of the popularity and power that they had. And in the day and age that we live in, like you said, the digital age, you're not
Right.
gonna tell me he's not at the peak of his power right now.
He's
Like he's doing, I think he just
definitely and more powerful than the ones that everyone assume are powerful. Like he has this kind of point and go thing that he's able to do, and it's extremely different to see. Yeah.
very, very,
Mhm.
and I can only imagine, not imagine, I can only recall when like people was trying to say like, oh yeah, like he's trying to get the black vote or whatever. They said the same thing like, oh, Bill Clinton was black because he played the saxophone. He was doing things out of his. That's a completely different thing than what this
Right.
guy is doing. He's
Yeah.
strategically appealing to people of all colors, and
Hmm.
he's more than anything talking to the downtrodden, not the people who
Yeah.
have money. Like he got friends who got money. We all know I'm gonna
Yes.
take care of y'all, but
Yes.
let me
Yes.
talk to these people who gonna be rioting. These people who gonna
Yeah.
be the poor. The rich always feared the
Yeah.
poor because they outnumber them. But if
Yeah.
you
And
could control the
you can't
masses,
predict the poor. You can't predict what the poor will do. Yeah.
But if you could control the masses, if look at, I'd even take it to the most, the strongest thing that the world has seen probably in the last 1,000 years is the Catholic Church. As far as power goes, if you look up Karl
Real
Marx,
power. Yeah.
if you look up Karl Marx, if you look up Martin Luther, and their whole thing against the popes and the Knights Templar in the Catholic Church, because they were popular, because they were giving people and they were speaking to the downtrodden. Even that supreme power has been
Yeah.
challenged before. So,
Yeah.
and that's why we have Protestants now.
Yeah. And that giving that safety, whenever you can hear the voice of the ones who are not heard, it's always a powerful move. Yeah, it's always a powerful move. And the unheard are always the ones that have the most, they have a lot to say, and it's a lot helpful to how things can go, but people ignore the unheard all the time. So yeah. Yeah,
Absolutely.
that is the
Absolutely.
power of the Catholic Church for sure. Now I'm going to take you into the Diddy trial.
Ooh, let's talk about it. I don't want to
Let's
talk about it. I'm
bad
getting
boy.
nervous.
So Bad Boy is actually the defense put in an attempt today to do a mistrial. They did put in a request today for a mistrial due to the witnesses. This are just kind of contradicting themselves, and it's all over the place. And your story doesn't match that story, and this story, and in any other time there would be a mistrial. So what do you think? Where are we at with Sean P. Diddy Combs?
They can't touch that man. They can't touch him. They couldn't touch him when with Shine and J Lo. They got a new black man and a new Spanish woman. They got the Punisher and they got Cassie. They can't touch my man.
Bringing
All
Cuddy
joking,
in. Yeah.
all joking aside, it is like we spoke about these shows.
Yeah.
That is too big of a person in that industry for the things that they're accusing him of to be
Right.
taken down for those things. If they're gonna
Right.
take him down for domestic violence, DV, pardon me, that's a whole nother thing. But if you
Exactly.
take him down, and I don't know if you've seen that Ray J interview with Pierce Brosnan, that boy was nervous. He's sitting there talking about, well, I don't know what's going on now. I don't know what to think. It's some freaky stuff going on.
Hmm.
Man, first of all, your stuff was televised. Diddy, they had to go and do the research. They just got to
Yeah.
go to Love and Hip Hop and see you
Yeah.
pushing your wife into a pool or telling
You
your
can
wife,
still
yo,
type yours into X and Twitter account at
you
Ray
know,
J. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
started, you started. I don't want to say you started, but let's not forget who was the other half of that Kardashian tape.
Mm.
Let's not forget how you told your wife on national TV, oh, I just want to see you knock her out real quick. Go knock her out real quick.
Ray J has moments all the time. Here's the thing that I thought when every time I see 50 Cent say something, I think, is this scripted? Okay, Keith Johnson says, that's my cousin. He says, smart, ambitious, creative, spiritual, and self deprecating. I wish him the best. He deserves all of the attention. Is that
Appreciate
your,
you,
is
family.
he, that, is that your family?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Church
Everybody.
family and actual cousin.
Yeah, love it. Love it. Thank you for
Appreciate
coming
you,
by,
bro.
kids, and appreciate that for sure. So, what do you think?
Um,
Did he
all,
go home?
all joking aside, if he's not going to rehab, that's where he need to be going. Go get they flipped all them couches and stuff over trying to find all that evidence. Let that man out and let him go do what he gotta do. Cause what they're proven is that he's a sick individual and that America has a sickness that can be seen not only on TV, but when you go out into the streets.
Yeah.
We know that men and women have very different type of relationships depending on who the man is and who the woman is. You might be a different version of yourself with a different person. Yeah, that person might not get that out of you. But at the end of the day, is this racketeering? Is this a criminal organization that has come up through
Mm.
illegal activities, use funding to continue illegal activities, and are looking to the future to either um, extort or
Or
kidnap, anything of those, any of those criminal acts that associated with the racketeering and the indictment kind of thing. Like I said, I know friends. I tell my friends, don't give me no handshake, bro. I know you. We don't have to. We not in the NBA. We ain't gotta do none of that. I know where you from. You know where I'm from. You know what I do. We don't gotta do all that. Give me a handshake because nobody ever got indicted for that. At least black people, Italians, yeah. But it was made for them because you would have a boss, a underboss, a capo, a
so much
consigliere.
crime. Yeah,
You had all of this, and it was going on where not that the government didn't know, they just didn't care because those people had a certain complexion. As long as they wasn't going too far and they was helping the economy in their eyes, is okay. But when you start taking too much from the economy, you start feeling like you more than us, just to bring it back to the Diddy thing, because that's what I truly believe is happening.
They're trying to humble him.
Humble yourself, young man. Yeah, you could walk into these rooms, but when you start walking into the room and your sons is all on you, your kids is kicking over the stuff, and now y'all acting a little bit too comfortable here.
Now you're going a little bit beyond what we allow you to do. Yeah.
And just because you got them tapes on us, don't mean that you think you're the first black person who has some evidence. You see what they done did they doing the same thing, history repeating itself.
Yeah.
Breaking down this man's private property. There's some people in the bayou. They won't go down there with them people with them alligators, them swamp people.
The off limits, they're not even allowed to go in those spaces.
You from Texas, I'm sure you know a few people
there are many places that they cannot touch. Yeah.
If some cops even come on this land, I don't care if you a cop, whatever you is, you getting it. Yeah. But because he's a BLK man, and again, they're ultimately all in agreement that he needs to be humbled.
And the addiction definitely weakened him. Many people that are new to the Diddy topic don't understand that there was a time when the addiction seemed to have come along around the Cassie timeline, but there was a time when we saw him at the top and that wasn't an issue, and he was powerful without that. I'm glad that he can admit that he has an issue, but that's a rehab thing. That's not life in prison.
Yeah, D-Shells, he's not the first black older man to snort something or shoot something trying to keep up with that young Spanish thing.
Oh, that's
Trust me, go to Atlantic City, go to anywhere come to Vegas, go to anywhere. You're gonna see an older man. We got Bill Belichick, we got the dude from wrestling, I forget the commentator name. All these dudes got younger girls. All of them is taking a little pink horsepower or honey or something to keep up with these young girls. And then just so happened to, again, Cat Williams said it best. I don't drink Hypnotic, but bitches do. If the bitches do coke, if she do coke, I'm not gonna do it. But it might be hair, and then she might be so pretty, and I might be so susceptible to doing whatever I got to do to get in that. I just do a little. Oh, that's all it was.
And I think that's what I see here. I see a culture that I see a paradigm shift. That we have.
Remember, you had the mohawk that time.
The Shannon Sharpe. I think that discipline may have to become a huge part of interacting with women going forward for the black man. Do you agree?
Discipline and documentation. I have a skit. I mean, not a skit. I have a bit rather, where I jokingly say that after every date, along with the check, I pre-give the waitress or waiter a contract saying that this was all consensual, and they bring that out with the check. So while I'm checking the menu, I'm checking my price, you check that, make sure all the document or everything, because we signing at the same time. I'm gonna pay for this meal. You gonna sign that, and we all gonna know going forward I got cameras in my house, females. Then, hey, is that recording while we listen? Yeah. I'm not gonna say it is. I'm not gonna say it's not. Just know that if the judge ever needed to have have a debate about it.
Whatever you
I'll be
think
sitting
you're
right
gonna
there.
say happened.
Your Honor, I just want to give you that
But
little. I can pause it.
that,
I can stop.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, it's
I really think that that's what
sweet.
has happened with Diddy. I think that people were there before him and people are above him, as Ray J says. And because of that, that is why he had this fear by keeping things on camera all the time, because he knew that the takedown was a very serious thing likely to happen at all times. Yeah.
I don't want to sound messed up, but I had jobs where they wasn't half as important as being no music mogul. I didn't
Right,
have
right.
corporate jobs where I still got little not the what's these things called? Not floppy disks.
Thumb drives.
I got thumb drives. I got hard drives of just evidence from these people in these corporate positions because yeah, when we was out
I've
at
done
the
it before.
bar,
I've worked it. Yeah. Mhm.
I'm
Yes, you have to
I'm just
document when
taking a
you look
selfie,
like
man.
us. You have to document a lot.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
cover
yeah.
yourself and realize it's a dirty game and realize they play that game, but you have to, like anything else, play it even better than them because you can have all the footage and stuff, but you got to have the footage sitting in the Cayman Islands where the
Right.
footage can't be
Not
on
in your
U.S. soil where they can get
Balenciaga
to it
boots.
and burn it.
I'm sorry that they were able to find it in your Balenciaga boots, Diddy, but if you had hired
Oh,
me, it wouldn't have
man.
been in your Balenciaga boots. No, I'm
I
kidding.
ain't gonna lie.
Awful.
I felt so betrayed. They knew it was a black detective to know to go in those damn sneakers. Only black men know that's
How
where we
you
hide
know that? Like,
everything.
how did you know to go in them sneakers? Who told you?
White men don't hide stuff in their sneakers. Black men, money in their watches,
Oh man,
drawers, everything.
everything.
I didn't hit
Yeah,
everything in my sneaks. Let it be a good Timberland. Ooh,
that's funny.
let
That's
it
so
be a good construct. Oh my God. It like
man.
the
Okay,
Balenciagas.
so LJ, we talked Diddy, but also always a conversation of recent, especially with the statue in the middle of New York. What are your thoughts on Lizzo? She's leveling up. Win whammy. I've been fat. I've been skinny.
I
So,
seen
what do
that.
you think about Lizzo?
Alright. Lizzo is it's a complex topic as a black man because you want to see people living in their own skin and being happy. But Lizzo kind of remind me of, and this is a person who I never could stand. The fat person making fun of themselves being fat.
Right,
Oh,
right,
you know I'm the big girl. You know
right.
this, and this. So nobody can make fun of me. Now you just giving yourself some wiggle room,
You
if you
open the
will.
window.
But then if I say something now, oh, you a hater, you probably still want this. You probably listen, you the one who brought it up. I
You
thought you didn't have
talked
no
about it.
problem
I
being
thought we could
big.
do this.
But I do love the
Yeah.
fact that, not
I
like,
love her powerful movement of being
yeah,
comfortable in her skin now as
exactly.
Lizzie, and understanding that it was a health need and that she had to do it, and being bold enough to say it was necessary.
And showing that it can be done in the right way. You don't got to take shortcuts. You don't have to,
Right.
even if it's health wise, because there's a lot of people who they say they use that as an excuse, but you don't realize when they cut you open or they go inside you and do these things, it's so much more you exposing yourself to,
Exactly.
and your body might not be equipped to handle. The Lord closed us up for a reason. We don't bleed randomly for
Right.
unless again we know what the reasons are.
Right.
But
Right.
you're supposed to be closed up. I've had surgery on my left knee. I have two
Right.
plates and five screws in my left knee because of
Ouch.
a basketball injury. But
Hmm.
it's um it's an unnatural thing to be cut
Hmm.
open and have stuff foreign put inside you. So
Right.
for her to be an advocate, that's what I love about her right now. That even though I'm sure it's hard getting up and dieting the right
Oh,
way.
trust me, it's hard. And that, I don't know. I'm on Manjaro, and that little jab. I don't know why people think that jab solves all the problems. We still have to put in a lot of work. It is not taking the weight off. Is not 1, 2, 3 just because we get a jab.
Listen, that's where people go wrong with the health because you think it's similar to
men using steroids or using muscle milk. You think you're gonna just drink something or shoot something? You gotta still go. You gotta
Yeah,
still go to the gym. Even
yeah.
these BBLs. I didn't seen
You gotta put in the work.
females then told me, I had a BBL. I'm saying like, where the hell you paid money for this? You
Right.
look the same. You look
I
like
don't
you
see
was.
the difference.
I thought this was natural body, but
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Mhm.
yeah. I just pray that she is an
I
example
hope that
for.
she makes a movement and she inspires
Yeah.
others. When I found out, I was deep in my journey when I found out that she was on her journey, and I could relate immediately to what it is. And taking off 50 pounds is a lot of your work. And I know behind the scenes, behind her smile, behind her defense, it's a lot of work for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope, like you said, as opposed to seeing and not to knock them, but an Amber Rose, he taking our hoism back or
No,
things
no.
like that. It's
Mhm.
lovely to see uh
This. Mhm.
this.
Yeah, the body. It's the body. It's your church. It's your personal church, and what we do with
Yes.
it really matters. Yeah. So, what would you like to
Another
say to
quote
the
of mine.
listeners
Oh,
closing out? LJ, I appreciate your fans coming by and being a part of and sharing their thoughts about you as well. Like, what do you want people to know? And you have to tell them, how do they follow you?
please follow me on TikTok, Instagram. Um, I literally have been banned from X.
Okay.
When it was Twitter, I haven't tried it since it's been X, so I
Well,
keep telling
he
myself.
opened up a lot of freedoms and a lot. Even the Trumpster came back. He changed a lot of the rules when he took over.
See, that's something I should have told y'all about myself. I was flagged as a political terrorist at one point in my life. But
Ouch! You got a little too mouthy in those Twitter streets. Black Twitter
definitely.
can't get us in trouble. I promise.
Oh man, this was when my
Oh
job every
man.
day was to get up and get put in Twitter jail, and like
I
I used to
promise you
wake
guys,
up
I
like,
think that happened to me too. I went through TSA on a trip and they took my whole phone. And I'm like, okay, yeah, they take people's phone. And then they walked away and then they plugged it into a wall and then they did something else to it. And I was like, oh, I'm talking too much on the George Floyd thing. I need to
oh,
pipe down just a little bit.
see, it was definitely around those times. Definitely around those times. But
I can relate. I can relate. Oh my God. That's so awful.
website is coming soon with merch on
Okay.
it. The name on it is gonna be the name that you follow on is L underscore OH underscore L underscore. I know it's a lot of underscores, but
Yeah.
then when you spell it out, it's kind of like L O L, which in
Okay.
my
Okay.
comedy makes people sigh a lot and kind of
Okay.
think, what the hell is wrong with me? So it's a
Okay.
play
That's a
on
good
words.
backstory. Okay. I didn't know that's what that meant. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that's what that kind of gets into. But yeah, follow me there. I don't have any solid tour right now, but I'm working with a new manager to work on a tour for the summer. So hopefully I'll
Awesome.
be coming to a city near you. I know some of
Yeah.
the cities
Austin,
that.
Texas. The comedy scene is awesome. And Denver, Colorado
Oh,
also. Yeah. Mhm.
oh, those two are definitely New York, Denver, New York, Colorado, Texas,
Yes.
California, all on my list
Awesome.
of have to perform there this
Oh, we're
summer. I'm
showing
just
up.
trying to make it into.
When you come, we are going to be there. We will definitely be there.
Oh yeah,
This is
I'm a cowboy fan
yay.
and everything. I gotta show out for Texas. I gotta talk about how I grew up behind enemy lines, listen
Okay.
to these
Okay. So
Giants fans my whole life. Oh,
and
I'm
to get
coming
talked
to
about every year, but I'm telling you right now, Troy Aikman, don't play with us because you will see us at the Super Bowl. Don't play
Texas.
with us this year.
That's how I know you real, because you know Troy is a betrayer. I don't know what
Don't
Troy
play with us
and
this
Jerry
year.
went through, but the way he comment, you know he don't be commentary. Now we need Tony. Anytime Tony is there, we do what's right
Oh,
when Tony Romo there. I don't
ah,
know what I tell my uncles. I'm not a one of my uncles, I argue with him. I'm like, you a Troy Aikman Cowboy fan? I'm a Michael Irvin, bruh. You know you don't play anything that happened is gonna be
I
Cowboys.
think I know for sure when you can feel it. I've been through the Super Bowls with the Cowboys, so I know that we can feel it, and it's coming. It's
It's
coming. This
coming.
is 2026 is us. I'm sorry for
Listen,
everybody else. Y'all be all right.
if the Knicks could make it to the Eastern Conference Finals after all these years, I
All these
believe that the Cowboys are finally due to
this is
get
our
things
time.
done.
This
And
is
we
our
don't have a big name coach. We got a no name coach. We got some players that's really trying to prove themselves, like George Pickens and stuff like.
yeah.
We got a team today. We got a team. I
It's
believe in
coming.
this team.
It's
I
coming.
like
This
this.
is the year, and then y'all are gonna see what the hype has been about. For the naysayers, I know y'all young, y'all don't know anything about us winning, but you'll see what the hype's been about.
Let's just
you,
say for the people too young to know, they made a whole like like every movie sports wise in the 90s, the Cowboys was seen as like the evil people because that's how popular we were. We still America's team,
Extremely
haven't been winning for
still America's
years.
team.
So
Yeah.
I
How we
appreciate
continue to keep
being
our
here.
crown and we weren't even winning and we kept our crown. I mean, come on. I want you to do this when you come. Real Cowboy fans, you must experience North Texas. I want you to go to the Star. When you go to the Star, it's a phenomenal experience in Frisco, Texas. And that is Cowboy land through and through. And you have to go experience the Star, have lunch there, park in the garage, go shopping, everything Cowboys, stand in the middle of the field. You have to experience the Star. Yeah.
Oh man, I definitely have to. And
Yeah.
I'm calling you to let me know where all the brunch spots is at,
Absolutely.
or everything. Wherever 50 Cent be having all them naked girls at those pool parties. I want to know the ins and outs. I want to know the ins and outs. These things.
Thanks.
Listen,
You're hilarious, LJ. I can't wait for the world to see you on bigger stages. I love the work that you're doing on the stages you're on now. Shout out to everything coming for you. I know that whatever you set yourself out to do, you are going to do it. And I'm so glad to say that, you stopped by my stage. I'm going to be in the audience way in the back, at the Apollo. He stopped by my stage.
Nah. I'm one of those people who I truly believe nothing like success in that form will ever have me be not picking up my phone for people who I feel like I really, whether or not we agreed all the time or not,
Yeah.
if I work with you and I have respect for you, you would definitely be in the front row, D Shields. If I was ever performing in your city, you would be
Yo, yeah.
randomly getting tickets in your
I'm coming to
emails. Like,
support
listen,
regardless, though. I'm supporting regardless. I believe in all that you do. You do. I love the debates. We have a great time over there on Evolutionary Era Media. We have a great time during the week. People do need to stop by and see you at your debate best and on there as well.
They I try to be so they bring it out of me. But
No, but people, the
I
comments are
try to
always like,
disagree.
"Where's LJ? Where's LJ?" And I said, "All the comments have to have the LJ moment."
I try not to take too much credit, but like I said, they bring it out of me. You as well, Disha. You know how y'all be getting me going
Sometimes we
sometimes.
have
They
to
be
really
like,
go in. It's part of the game.
honestly, y'all be messing with me. Y'all know I want it to be nothing but love in the world, especially black love. So
Yeah.
if I had to end anything with anything, I always end it with that. Love to everybody and black love above everything else because that's so important. We didn't get into like Remy Ma and Papoose.
I did
But
want to ask you, I hate
listen,
to backtrack. I know we were about to close, and last night we
I
had a
got
talk.
time if you
Please tell me. Yeah, because we could go at it. They don't know we do these panels like 6 to 7 hours on every
exactly.
like we stay up late in the night, y'all.
and
So,
I
but
and I
tell
owe
me,
you from
LJ,
last week.
Remy Ma, Papa's Clarissa Shields, where do you stand? Is Pap in the wrong? Is Remy in the wrong? Where do you stand on this?
two wrongs don't make it right, but somebody can definitely be more wrong than somebody else. I gotta say, and again, being from the Bronx, this hurt my heart. Remy, you're dead wrong. You was dead wrong multiple times, over and over. And Pat, at a certain point, anybody gonna say something back?
Yeah.
You
He
be
was
getting tossed
loyal
about.
for so long. Can you imagine being loyal to your person that's locked up and you're a guy?
I know I can. I can. And nobody in the comments, even if I tried to lie and say I would, nobody gonna let me even lie and say that.
Yeah.
So I really feel like and people trying to, but he had text message with his baby mother when she was sending him. So what? You don't know how many times Remy Ma was on an interview saying, I told him to go and deal with other people. So how we know that she wasn't like, oh yeah, as long as it's not a new person, especially if you're dealing with her, who I know you don't really care, y'all just gotta pass. She's just helping you get that off. Cool. So
Right.
again, I just feel like
What's
now
hurting
that
her
Remy
feelings
is
so more? It seems like her feelings might be hurt with being with Clarissa, who has broken barriers. She is the undefeated in everything that she has done. She's a first in a lot of things in her sport right now. So is it that to kind of sit and have a back seat to him being with someone who is so successful in the world outside of rap right now?
so successful, so young,
Yeah.
so just
Stack
like
and
her,
thick on thick
so
on thick.
like her, but not like her. How you and I know I've heard it from women before. How you gonna get somebody that's like me but not really like me? Somebody who younger than, and I'm not saying that it don't happen with men because I look at Pap. She was a young battle rapper, but I wasn't exposing nothing. He was losing. He exposed our whole situation, and now I went off and dealt with somebody who I can relate with.
Right.
If you want to call it a younger version of you and make yourself mad, you call it that. But I see her as her. I don't see her as you. You see this as a slight towards you, where it
Right.
didn't matter what I saw it as. You
Mhm.
allowed that man to go disrespect me in front of my kids. You let him
Right.
disrespect me in front of my peers. You
Right.
know, as far as lyricism, that's all. Nobody respect Papoose for the hits that he
Right.
made. They
Right.
respect him being a
Right.
lyricist. When you're
Right.
gonna have a battle rapper talking our business, showing
Yeah.
pictures and videos
Yeah.
on the internet. So
That's a
as
little
a
dirty.
man, he saw him, knocked him out, whatever happened.
Oh,
Remy's still exposing things. Oh, you immature. Why would you do that? Making him seem like a clown. This man was disrespecting me. So now I handled it privately. I'm handling it by being a part of the divorce, and you still just dragging my name through the mud. Oh, he don't pay for this. Oh, I'ma be good. Why don't you just pay the paper? And that I
right.
was sitting there like,
Well,
yo, you come too far to sound that basic.
when it comes to Clarissa's career, does she need to take a seat back from Pap for a minute and let him handle this unfinished business? Or can
She
they
could do whatever
continue?
she want to do. She
Yeah.
knocking people out regardless.
Remy,
It
I
ain't
wouldn't get in
nothing.
the ring with her. I wouldn't get in the
Remy knows she not getting no ring with her. And she's big tough from the Bronx.
right.
It's not like I heard growing up in the Bronx, Remy wasn't out here fighting, but you know the difference between
A
being a
professional
street
fighter.
fighter and knowing that one she's beating people up regardless if they in a telephone booth, if
Yeah.
they in a sumo wrestling ring, that woman can fight. Remy will shoot her.
Yeah.
Remy will stab her. We're hanging out with those Hispanics in Terror Squad. She'll slice her. But
Awful. Awful, awful. So listen, okay. So if you had time for Remy Ma and Papoose, do you have anything on Halle Berry, and
uh,
DDG?
she she just ladies, I'll tell you this. Tell you this. If you're gonna accuse a man of something,
Right.
stand on it and make sure it is not you still got the we still allowed to say we
The
got
series, the disclaimers, all up there. We got it.
don't make an accusation that a person could dick out of you.
Right.
If I could dick you down and change your mind, and it wasn't abuse after you got dick down, it shouldn't have been abuse before you got dick down.
Right.
Why
So
would you
the
show
switching it
that?
up. Hmm.
If you're
Yeah.
gonna, and I don't want to make it jokingly about sex, but at the end of the day, even if you take it back, like, oh, he is a good father, he never did that much, it's already out there. And as
Well,
a
these two are
black man,
confusing us because you guys hid the pregnancy for so long. Then you just kind of go into this super love affair for a very short love affair, and now it's just at its worst. You know, when relationships get to the worst level, it went to that really fast, unexpectedly. So it's a lot to unpack for the viewers and fans. Yeah.
and on top of that, you just like a week before that made a video about you feeling like body shame about a video you put up with your sister. So now, like, you putting so much doubt into your character. You was the Little Mermaid. You
I
had to do
know.
nothing else for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
You
we
had
would
to
have
do
been
nothing
good.
but show up
We
at
could have
Disneyland.
stopped at we could have stopped at the Little Mermaid. Mhm.
You know, you had to go get knocked up by an influencer. Now you playing influencer games.
I
You
kind
want
of see it as a rebellious Miley Cyrus moment. I am not Hannah Montana anymore. I am now Miley Cyrus. That's what I'm seeing happening with Haley Berry. She wants to put all this behind the mermaid life. She's a grown woman and she's trying to have grown woman business out there in the open, but maybe not so Blueface would have been really good. But this
the
is messy.
sister? The sister got different dudes she dealing with. She was
Yeah.
dealing with Gunner when he was on trial. She got up out of there because she know there's a difference between showing a little booty cheek in a video and going the whole bad girl route like Miley Cyrus. That's if you're gonna learn
You're gonna
that. You can
learn
make
real
the
quick.
video about being a
Yeah.
wrecking ball, but you don't
Yeah.
really go out there and be on. Come on.
Yeah.
Showing chipped tooths and stuff. Now, what we supposed to think you got the chipped tooth from if he didn't hit you? Or did he hit you and now you an untruthful woman who can never be trustworthy again? And
I mean,
now
it's like
these
the Diddy
executives looking
trial.
at that too.
They're able to say a lot of things, and just like the Diddy trial, it's hearsay, and proven beyond reasonable doubt is the thing because a lot that's being thrown out there, it's really hard to see it, and you're really gonna have to now prove it because you put it in the public eye. Yeah. Hmm.
And you could say, oh yeah, when the person went into the room, I ain't see nothing on them. But when they came out the room, I think I seen like a little bruise under their eye.
Hmm.
You don't know what happened in that room. That's why it's speculation, it's hearsay, and it's
Right.
not certain.
Listen, and
You
it's not.
cannot convict nobody on that.
No, no. Those moments happen. And it's not just them. Like, I know that we're watching Papoose and Remy. I know that we're watching Diddy, Cassie, and I know that we're watching Hallie, DDG, but it happens everywhere. And I think what it does have in common is that we need to talk about it. DB and AB is happening too much under the influence in hurting the partner and the lover is happening too much. So maybe some good could come out of it when it's all said and done, that it's happening on these high levels.
Listen, if you're not utilizing this stuff to promote self-awareness, situational awareness, if you're gonna think, like, I remember, and it seemed like almost like, and correct me if I'm wrong, Disha, when those movies and stuff was coming out in like the early 90s about women being like accosted at a heightened level, wasn't that like when gym membership and Billy Blanks and like Tybo and all, like, it coincided with each other
It
because
did.
you had a
It did.
fear, so you wanted to do something about the
So
fear.
you started getting out there trying to. I see them pushing Billy Blanks again recently because we're back in this era where they need to know some jujitsu and stuff. Like they need to know how to come at these guys because when you get in that space and it's just you can't call your brother, can't call your uncle. You need to know how to do something to get out of that moment. Yeah.
I tell my little sisters all the time, and if they watching, I love y'all so much. But I tell them all the time, security and safety is nothing but the lies that we tell ourselves and all the things that we tell ourselves that's going to stop a person from just reaching out and touching you. You could take all that, like you said, oh, my brother be here in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
10 minutes a long time.
Long
10 minutes a long time to do a lot of bad.
Yeah.
5 minutes, even if I'm around the corner.
Right.
If you have to be able to defend yourself and get yourself out of those situations in a way where even if you take some type of damage, you're not damaged to the point where that person feel like I literally have. It's no giving up. It's no, oh, I'm gonna bust your teeth out if you keep moving. Not to get graphic,
But
bust.
yeah.
You won't have no teeth, but you'll have your integrity. Bite,
Yeah.
kick.
Yeah, don't worry
slap,
about
scratch.
I tell people all the time being a DV survivor is care less about how you're going to look, because I promise that your looks will bounce back. We have collagen in our skin, you know, like you're going to bounce back. But when it comes to getting deep down and dirty and ugly, do not be cute. Do not smile with these guys when they're coming at you and you can see that the boundary has been crossed. Get real mean real quick. You better bring your inner Clarissa Shields out. Like, you better be ready, because some of these men are so disturbed or under the influence of something that disturbs them, and they can overpower you before you know it. So that awareness,
listen,
that is
just
key.
a quick tidbit, ladies. Y'all are always within arm's distance of some type of weapon if y'all thinking the right way. Your nails, your heels, your keychain, your
The
purse,
ring.
rings.
You
If you
stay
place
ready.
these things the proper places on anybody's body,
Right.
their
Right.
body is going to react. The temple, the inner thigh, the groin.
Yeah.
And I don't want to, give a full
No, you have.
lesson.
They need to really stay ready and really go take some classes. And there's a lot of free classes in your community. But I hear some of the things happening during the last few weeks on the trial, and thinking, "Oh, girl, you didn't know how to get up," because there are moments even where I'm not the toughest cookie, but that hallway, me and Diddy in that hallway, there would have been a different video. My career over, because I'm coming for you, bruh. So I think that people need to prioritize the right thing, and that's living, and that's your mental health, and
That's a
standing up
naked
for yourself.
man. That's a naked man with a towel. One hand around the towel the whole time of
The
abuse.
whole
You got both hands. You got your luggage. You got all you in shades and hoodie. You ready? Really,
all
if you
that.
thought about it, you would have beat the shit out of Diddy if you
would
would have really
won.
put your.
Stay ready, and especially when you stay ready and here. Also, this girl said something really good on a video. She said, whenever they get you to one place and they say, "Come with me to the other place," she said that is your moment when you begin to fight, because I promise you, the other place you're not coming out of. So don't ever go to the second location. You better go at them. But ladies, yes, even if you're a little bitty Cassie, there was moments when she could have won that battle in that hallway. Yeah.
She could have ran away from him simply by running away. He in that
and
in
knocking
that
on
state
all
that he
the
was
doors
in.
along the way. Like, why did you beat on the doors? Like,
I don't want to victim shame here, but like I said, it's so many things when you're in
there's a
a
lot of
calm
lessons
state.
from this.
You can think of a way to get out of that, because again, going to a part of the hotel that had hot tea or something, like you could have threw that all on that man. Again, you could have scratched his skin is exposed. You could have scratched his eyes, go up into his nose with the base of your
all
wrist.
kind of things. So just stop him for a
stepped on
minute
his toe.
and run.
She could have stepped on his toe.
All she had to do was hit Diddy in the eye. Diddy think he pretty. Like, she could have landed that eye, and that would have just threw him off for a minute. Like, I don't know. What I do want the ladies to do is to look at the video, empower yourself, take it to your instructors and say, "See this video? How can you help me learn something to make sure that if this ever happens to me, help me learn how to get out of it?" Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, ladies, your cell phones are large. These cell phones that you have, I know you don't want to ruin it, but sometimes if it's in your hand,
crack that phone.
I guarantee if you're in front of a judge and they ask, what did you bludgeon him with? And you
Yeah.
say a phone, is going to be considered the weapon.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
if it's a gun, a firearm is going to be considered the
The
same thing, but
weapon.
it's still going to be considered self-defense because
Right.
you did what you had to do. And dudes too, man.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
feel sorry for the men that
yeah.
have gotten caught up in that. But make some decisions, because the decisions you make today make a difference in what happens to you tomorrow. So using, when you decide to use, know that it can control your life, you guys. Like, we are seeing that unfold in the trial for real. Now, can you do this for me, LJ? What would you like to say? I am going to bring you up, if I could figure out how to do that. And I want to know what it is that you want to say. I don't know how to do that. I said something I literally do not know how to do. So tell me, tell me what was you. I always forget that Honey is my tech person. And as soon as I said, I ran into that and I'm like, I don't have him. I don't know what I'm doing. But will you talk to the people and give a last minute statement of what would you like to say?
Listen, people is gone, as much as the world is going crazy right now, it's something to laugh at. Laugh with people who mean the most to you. Don't um don't waste moments on being angry and bitter and resentful when you got people who love you and want the best for you right next to you, watching you, and you could be an example of how to deal with stuff that isn't always the best situation. You could teach people a better way to deal with it. And that's something that I try to, you know, hold myself to that standard of being able to be an example to people not only younger than me, older than me, anybody who's watching, I'm in a scope of view. I like to be somebody who people could say is a stand-up person. He's a thinker. He's not easily susceptible to whatever. I always tell my little sisters, don't let nobody else control your mood. Don't let nobody else take you out of the mood that you in and let them put you where they want to put you. Like you said earlier, that's how people control your financial, just your career achievements, anything that you really say your goals towards. Just keep your head down, your horse blinders on. Um, and if you got a problem like me with the ladies, man, I don't know. Just
Get some
go to go
discipline.
to go to therapy. Go to therapy and figure out why you
Like,
like
shout
the
out to
ladies so
getting
much.
some therapy for being disciplined with, because there's some bamboozlers out there, and we've seen
Yes.
it during the Diddy trial.
Oh man.
Yeah.
They'll call the people. They'll make the call for you. They do everything. They'll do participate, and somehow 30 years later, when you got
It
yourself
becomes
somebody
this.
younger, somebody a little bit
Yeah.
more tender, now
Yeah.
all this tell-alls, and they never
Yes.
wanted. They wanted to do it. They still love you. Say they love you right in front of their husband, but
Yeah.
you know,
That was nasty work. Whew, Alex Fine. Congratulations on that new baby, but that divorce
yeah, all this really tells
is
me
pending.
go if I tell any young comedians anything, go into stripping. Go into male escorting because clearly they do better than
Clearly,
the
it's money.
comedians. On average, they clearly do better than us.
Oh
So
man.
use what you got to get what you
The
want.
Punisher, the Punisher made it clear that you can use what you got to get what you. Thank you, LJ. I love it. Conversations with D Shields, our funniest guest yet, LJ comedian, the comedian. And listen again, one more time, how to find you on TikTok and Instagram.
TikTok, Instagram, L_OH_L_. I know it's a lot of. I know I'm messing up on my spiel. L_OH_L_. I know it's a lot of underscores, but the laughs is a whole lot more.
Yeah.
They.
I appreciate that. Thanks. We appreciate you. We look forward to having you come on again as your career
Yes.
evolves. We look forward to talking to you again.
Please, D Shields, hold me to that challenge because I know you mentioned a couple of people who you be trying to get in contact with them. They sometimes So
It's
hold me
hard.
to that
It's
and
real
call me
hard
out
to
on
get.
that.
It's real hard to get everybody back as everybody gets, to that next level. It's like, oh man, I want to talk. But when you're busy, and when you start working, I'm not going to be judging you because I know it can get real busy out there once you get
And
going.
only thing I'll ask you kindly is I'll probably just be like, oh, you know me at this point, D Shields. I was supposed to be on stage 5 minutes ago. I gotta run.
Yeah, yeah.
But
And I appreciate that too, because that's an honor just to know you delayed that for us. Well,
definitely,
I
that was
appreciate you, LJ. I'm gonna see you in them talk streets, of course, once again. And thank you to all your family, your friends, your supporters who showed up also. And I hope you have a phenomenal week. And I will see you again soon.
Thanks for having me. See you soon. Look forward to everything that you got going on as well. Go read her books. Go watch her channel.
Thank
Subscribe,
you.
like,
Thank you.
comment, and look forward to whenever you send that invitation out, being back on again.
I appreciate it. Thank you, LJ.
Have
You
a
guys
great
have a
night.
great night. Thank you.